Okay, so this is the first week's worksheet that you completed for demonstration or discussion section. And I'm just going to go over the answers really quickly because we won't easily be able to give you like graded feedback since it was in Google Forms. So the first question, what features are common to all insects? And if you remember from what we went over in discussion and in lecture, you have to have a pair of compound eyes in adult insects, 3 pairs of legs or 6 legs total, 2 antennae or a pair of antennae, and a head and thorax and abdomen for the segments of the body. And there are many insects as well that have 2 pairs of wings, but as we discussed, there are many insects that have evolved their wings away, either 1 pair or completely evolved them away. An example of insects that have no longer have 2 pairs of wings are flies, where they've evolved to have 1 set of wings and then a set of halteres, which acts like a gyroscope and helps them fly. And then fleas are an example of an insect that have no pairs of wings, and they have evolved instead to be excellent jumpers. So then a question from the live cams, which were linked up top here. What type of food do leafcutter ants eat? And if you watched the live cam and read about these types of ants, they actually do not eat the leaves that they are harvesting. They use those leaves to feed the fungus that they farm in their nests, and they eat the fungus. So these ants are farmers, which is pretty cool. So the answer to this one would be fungus. And then what are the 3 castes of honeybees from the honeybee cam here? And the answer to this question are the castes that are workers, which are all females and, as the name suggests, do a lot of the work in the hive, and then the drones, which are the males and are mostly around for mating, and the queen, of course, is around for reproduction. And I put here that other social insects have these castes too, but I should have stipulated that not all of them have those castes. For example, termites also have a king. Which of these insects in these live streams are predators, if any? So we've already discussed that these leafcutter ants are farmers. Honeybees are not predators because they harvest nectar. And butterflies, of course, are not predators either because they also are nectar consumers among other liquids, but they do not prey on other organisms. So none of the insects in the live streams are predators. Which of the live arthropods here are not insects? So if we go through again these live cams, we have ants, honeybees, and then butterflies, all of which have 3 legs, a pair of antennae, a pair of compound eyes, 3 pairs of legs, and a head and a thorax and an abdomen. Honeybees and butterflies also have 2 pairs of wings. So these are all insects. So the answer to this one, all of these arthropods are insects. I made another video about butterfly adaptation, so I suggest you watch that if you're interested in this. But one of the answers that you could have put for this is that the butterflies can have different types of patterning on their wings, especially ones that look like eye spots. And the purpose of that adaptation is to frighten predators because eyes of larger mammals are often an indication of something that they should be scared of and avoid. So those cool butterflies with eye spots, one of them is called the owl butterfly, is an adaptation to ward off predators. This next one, what are some advantages to entomophagy? And if you remember from lecture, entomophagy is the consumption of insects by humans for food. And some of the advantages are that the protein that you can get from these insects is easier to produce. They're taking up less space often to farm crickets, for example, and they require less resources than, for example, larger mammals like cows would. And it's also, because of that, friendly to the environment for taking up less resources, so it can be cheaper and take up less resources. So those are just a couple of examples, and if you want to read more on that, you can certainly Google it. There are plenty of interesting things out there. And these next couple of questions just required you to go. They're pretty easy questions. Look at the ID guide and the Rainforest Butterfly website and see which of the butterflies that you have seen before, and if so, which ones. And it's okay if you've never seen any of them before. And then what is your favorite butterfly from that forest ID guide? There are many gorgeous butterflies there, so you could of course pick any of them and why. And again, this last one is just another free answer. So as long as you answered it with something reasonable that makes sense, you will get credit for it along with these other two.